right, boys and girls. It's time for Jerry's Outdoor Show. Heard exclusively right here on AM 860, FM 95.1, KWPC, the voice of Muscatine. Powered by Indian Creek Lure Company, the Sicilian Pizzeria, Mitchell Arms and Ammo, Pierce Custom Rods, Tailwater Marine, Deaf Guy Taxidermy, and RB's Outback Bait and Tackle. Like Jerry's Outdoor Show on Facebook. Jerry, our rods and reels are ready. Let's go fishing.
All right, let's get to it. You know, I gotta say thank you when you guys you hear KWPC playing during the day. You always hear making reference to Chamberlain Heating and Air Conditioning. And I'm gonna tell you what, them boys do a good job because you could hang some meat in the studio. They like to keep it a little cool in here, and it's working good. But hey, you're on Jerry's Outdoor Show, and joining me this week is my good friend Lonnie Ford, and rejoining this week, and I have to say this, is where the hell you been, Randy?
I've been on the couch.
Been on the couch.
I had a little accident.
Yeah.
Got an infection in my leg.
Yeah.
Being a diabetic, that ain't good.
No.
And it was a hairy one, but we're on the uphill side.
The leg or the infection?
Yeah, both. I'm not one for good for laying on the couch for 2 weeks.
Oh, I imagine
that
so.
Drove me nuts.
I imagine your wife's got to be drove nuts.
Well,
too.
she ain't there much during the day.
I imagine so.
But I'm awful boring at night when you're sitting on the couch all day long too. So.
But you're on demand.
I'm on the mend. Like you was a little concerned about our fish fry next week. I think I can get in the boat.
Okay.
So we're gonna start getting the food.
Out. Yeah, we'll get out there and get her hit hard.
Yeah.
And another person is joining us this week. Where the hell you been, Tim Scott? You been missing?
I just been doing nothing, taking time off. Yeah.
Fixing them wires.
Yeah, I'm fixing some wires.
You've been working your butt off getting that transmitter going, right?
Yep, I've been pretty busy doing stuff here and at our other stations we have. So.
You know what? I don't think people really understand what really goes on at a radio station from an Indian.
If they knew, it'd scare the hell out of them.
Right.
or shock the hell.
Yeah.
That's some pretty big cables you got back there.
Oh yeah,
a lot of. So now yesterday morning when I got up about 5:30, get ready for work. Crack! Boom! Big old light. Now, do you get nervous now? Because that's what took out the other transmitter. So
no, we got a lot of protection in line, so I normally don't get nervous. But what I didn't know is our protection that we had in there since 1996 had taken so many lightning strikes that it crapped out. Well, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing to tell you that
there's
it's
no
bad.
monitor that hey, this could happen.
When you find out it's bad, everything done blowed up.
Yeah. But she's all fixed now, and it's all good, and everything's good, and everything's
Everybody
wonderful.
can hear you from miles away.
And RB's back, and the sun's shining.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
All the planets are aligning, and here we go. We're on Jerry's Outdoor Show. And, you brought it up, Randy, about the fish fry. That's coming up next Saturday. We'll be down at the VFW, so we might as well just run around. Lonnie, how you doing as far as the carp going, buddy boy?
Well, the river come up, of course, all the rain.
There we go. There we go.
I was up there yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm going back possibly this afternoon after 4:30, and then I'm going to hit her at daybreak tomorrow morning.
Okay. So, speaking of that, I went out Friday night. Remember we were talking last week, well, people that show up to do the show.
Yeah.
Last week we were talking about Rochester, right? You
Yes,
know,
sir.
and how bad that is silted in there at the ramp. Well, fortuitous enough, I know Tim loves that word, fortuitous enough for me, the DNR was pulled up right as I showed up to back in there, and I got to talking to the guy, and forgive me, I can't remember his name. He was a Cedar County. He was a kid. I don't.
So you got to see
They're
a
all
DNR
kids.
without me around. Huh?
Without you. So he didn't even ask for my license or anything. He's you're the guy with the radio show. You ain't with that brewer, are you? I said, no, he's down to the other way. Yeah, that's Fordyce's problem. But we got talking about it. He goes, yeah, this ramp's bad. And he had passed it along. He goes, I think I'm going to have to call the Corps of Engineers to come in here and try to straighten it out. Yeah. So hopefully we got that working for us up there. But, yeah, you're right. It really did come up. And, man, that water was whipping through there. I didn't even try it. Yeah. I said, forget this. I'm going,
Well, that's a bad boat landing for swift water anyway.
Right.
You get caught out in that. And
Yep.
You're going to have a heck of a time getting back on the trailer if you get back on the trailer.
Right. So, I figured my wife would be all sorts of upset if I put in at Rochester and I had to call her to pick me up at Salisbury to come back up to Rochester to get my trailer and my truck. So, I'd even attempt it. So, I ended up, like I said last week, my wife got her fishing license. So, she's been fishing a bunch with me, and it's a rewarding experience, I can tell you. When I go out fishing, I take a Gatorade, my fishing poles, and my tackle box, and maybe a pack of cigarettes.
And dog.
That's it, and the dog.
Yeah.
Now that my wife goes,
Okay, there you go.
we have to start 2 hours early to load up the boat with comfortable seating, umbrellas, dog bed, water bowl, pack of emergency supplies, snacks, coolers.
She is a nurse,
She is a nurse who can heal you, can make you sick. But
I've had
anyway,
a few phone calls.
Sunday morning we went up to Sand Lake, and this is the first time I went up to that. It's called Terry True Blood or Sand Lake up in Iowa City. I said, she doesn't like to go to places where there's a lot of sticks or trees or bushes. She likes wide open spaces when we fish. So I said, you know what? Sand Lake would probably be one of them good spots to go. And we went up there, and this was my first time. I fished there before for trout, but just off the bank. I'd never taken the boat up there. So I took the boat up there, and that whole area up there is kind of like one big bowl. I mean, the deepest I found was 8 foot. They said it's supposed to be 16 foot, but I didn't find it. It's just basically a big bowl, and there's absolutely no structure whatsoever in there. So
that wasn't a beer.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That was a Pepsi.
Anyway, so we went up there, and we caught a bunch of little dink bluegills, but we did manage to catch into some stripers. They're in there. I think we caught just about every manner of fish up there. We caught a carp and all that. I didn't know that place wasn't that old. I think I did some reading on it. I think it's only like 4 or 5 years old.
That's not old enough.
Right. So it'll take a little bit. But I figured because the Cedar floods or the Iowa rather, because Iowa's just up over the hill. I figured a couple times that it flooded in there, it would have, stocked it. But that was my first time, so it'll take a couple chances up there running around. But the stripers were good and they were decent, but man, that wind was howling out of the northeast. It was howling out of the north. So we didn't get to do too much, and we went back to our old favorite Chicken Creek, and everything's biting. And I finally found the beds for the bluegills in Chicken Creek. The problem was nobody was home, so we kind of missed it on there, but they are in there. What do you boys know? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Well, I talked to a couple of fishermen out of Moscow after last week's show, and I know we don't like to rehash stuff, but I thought it was pretty important.
This program you have to rehash once in a while.
But
somebody out there don't believe it.
Yeah, and that's just it. I have a fisherman, Mr. Sterner, out in Moscow, Iowa, that was double checking on some of the information we passed out last weekend concerning using bait, from the same tributary in which you fish it, and then the brand of that bait, such as crappie, bass, and whatnot, basically game fish. And I informed
walleye's good.
Yeah. Well, and we can use all those for bait, and also they got to come from with the water that you're fishing. And I just wanted to make sure that I had that information correctly, because that's what I responded to him. And he still had some doubts, along with other people. They say, "Oh boy, that's hard to believe," but it's true.
Well, you know what? I'll just put it out there again. And you know what? You can call Joe Fordyce, or you can call the DNR, whoever your DNR, what county you're in, and they'll gladly share this information with you. This originally came when I opened up a bait shop way many moons ago, and Tom Campbell was our DNR. And I got talking to him, and the first thing you do when you open up a bait shop, you don't know much about bait shop, the first question you have for the DNR is, hey, I want to sell bluegills and bullheads. Well, that's a big no-no. You cannot sell bluegills or bullheads for bait. Now, here's the thing. You can use them for bait. All right? I'm going to say that again. And this is Tom's words that he said to me. You can use anything that you catch by legal means for bait. You can use a bass. You can use a walleye. You could use a carp. You could use a sturgeon. You can use a bluegill. You can use a crappie. As long as it's within your limit, your legal limit, and it's a legal-sized fish. You cannot use a 12-inch bass. You can use a 15 or 16-inch bass for bait, but you're only allowed 3 of them. You know, whatever your limit is on that water. Mm-hmm. You can use it for bait. The reason why is if you catch the fish and you eat it, it's going to be consumed anyway. All right? So you can turn around and use that for bait, but that counts as part of your limit. Okay, let's say you go out and you catch 25 bluegill, okay, and you're setting up to run 5 diddy pulls. And those bluegill are going to come out of your limit that you've already reached of 25. Now, you can't hook those up on your diddy poles and then go out and get 5 more bluegill to replenish what you have. Okay, you have to use what is in your creel limit for the day.
I need more bait, though.
It's the thing, like when people say that, well, you can't use game fish. Well, you know what? Bluegill and bull have been used forever, and it is totally legal. But the part is right, and somebody tagged me on a post. They wanted to start a big argument, clear over
game fish or game fish.
Right,
well, the game's on.
Well, no, the biggest thing everybody's having a problem is with out of the same body of water that you're fishing in. Okay, yes, it is not clearly written down in the regs. Okay, why they address that? I tried to explain this, countless times to people, but they don't get it, and then they go, well, they sell minnows, and they sell, minnows aren't. Okay, I'm talking about you have a farm pond, okay, and you're going to go get bullheads out of this farm pond. This farm pond is isolated from every other body of water. Say there's a bacteria in there or something that these bullheads have. All right, now you got a bucket full of bullheads. You're headed to the Cedar. You're headed to Lake McBride. You're headed wherever you're headed. The water's not connected to that. Okay, so those infected bullheads are contained in that water. Okay, now you take them in a bucket. They get off the hook. You spill the bucket, whatever. Now you've got all these contaminated bullheads running around this water system, doing whatever. And it's like, well, it's just a fish, dude, it's just a fish. Dude, why do you think they want you to empty out all the water in your live well? Why do you have to pull the plug out of your boat? Because if you're fishing someplace that has contaminated water or artesian milfoil or whatever, I mean, this is microscopic. Mm-hmm. Now you're putting a 1 pound fish carrying God knows what. That's what it is. But like I said, I've relegated the people. If you don't believe me, and everybody has their opinion, and that's fine, just because you never got caught for it doesn't mean it ain't illegal.
Exactly.
Okay? So don't take my word for it. Call the DNR, and they are happy to talk to you about it. And
Can you say that one more time? Just because you never got caught
doesn't make it illegal.
Oh, wow.
I
wish I would have known that years ago.
Well,
Tim, you would have got in trouble.
It's the same thing as being married. I didn't realize till I got married how wrong I was doing stuff for years.
Oh, I thought you were talking about getting caught.
Well, that's why I'm not married anymore. So,
well, no, I found out I don't wash clothes right. I don't take the garbage out right. I don't do this right. I don't do that right. So, with that, that's what it is. But like I said, I'm just passing on what I know, and if you stop, and that's what I told the other guy that was trying to blast me on Facebook with it, because he got it all confused with like minnows or something. Like, no, minnows are non-invasive, this and that. If you wouldn't react, okay, don't react, and take 5 minutes and think of what I just said. Okay, think about it. And we had a gal call up, and she says, well, how in the hell would the DNR know if those came out of this or this and that? They wouldn't, okay? But it's up to you as an angler that wants to preserve a responsible person. We all know that driving out on the interstate, speed limit 70. But every 2 miles, there's a sign that says speed limit 70. We put that up for the people that aren't going to be driving 70, and when they get pulled over, you were doing 85. Well, I didn't see a sign. We're right there.
You know, it's just like they told me at my last job at HNI. This is a great company. A guy used an example. He's like, if you're on a road and it's 3:30 in the morning and there's no one around, do you drive the speed limit or do you drive way over the speed limit? Even if no one's watching or no one's there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, to answer the question, in my case, I'd probably drive slower.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, so...
me and Brewer
ain't
did.
trying to keep up with nobody.
Well, me and Brewer did the day we went to Lake Belvedere.
Yeah.
We drove really slow when we saw that deer pop out of the ditch and take that guy's headlight right up in front of us.
But it's just like the old adage, always do what's right and you'll never go wrong. You know, it's that simple.
Man, that's coming from Tim Scott.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on a T-shirt.
Now, I didn't always do like that.
In air quotes.
When I was a kid, I didn't do the right thing. But the older you get, the more smarter you get.
Be careful, brother. You know your mom.
You're starting to preach now.
Yeah,
he's getting better because he's not wasting any brain follicles on hair.
There we go. I'm just saying, be careful. You know your mother listens to this show, so before you dig a hole any deeper.
All right.
But let's get on with your fishing report and let's see what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Listen up! You're going to want to sharpen your pencil and take some notes. It's time for your fishing report, brought to you by MuscatineTVChannel.com, where you can catch the video replay of this broadcast. Not on cable, not on satellite, but always on. It's web TV, MuscatineTVChannel.com.
Lake Saguma, black crappie are fair. Use jigs and minnow combinations in about 4 to 8 foot of water. Largemouth bass are rated as fair as well as walleye. Use a jig tipped with a minnow or nightcrawler along the dam or other rip-rap shorelines. Minnows fished under a bobber can be productive. Big Hollow Lake. Bluegill are good. The bluegills are spawning. Try around the jetties, as they all have flat shallows covered with fine gravel around them. The water clarity is good. Water temperature is climbing to the low 70s. Channel catfish are good. Work around the rip-rap down to the dam and okay, we had a little bit of technical difficulties with that. Our usual guy, Wes Jordan, that does that is kind of off. He's on vacation, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is.
Okay, so we usually try to do it.
We attempted it, but we
didn't
know what the hell we were doing.
Yeah. Well, all I did was watching and pointing. That's all I did. It's like, it usually goes like that. So anyway, we left off Big Hollow. Cedar River, the channel catfish are rated as good. Shovel-nosed sturgeon are fair. Up at the Corville Reservoir, black crappie are fair. They're moving off the shorelines now into a little bit deeper brush. Channel catfish are good. They're moving in shallow for spawn up in the rock. Pitch jigs or live baits along the rocks. The walleye are also rated as fair up there in Corville Reservoir. Deep lakes, the bluegill, they're rated as good. The bluegills are on the beds and very easy to see. Which, if you've listened to this show for many numbers a year, that means they can also see you. So it's about time to break out the old fly rod with some flies and some poppers out there, and you're gonna pop them. Largemouth bass are good. Fishing remains fairly good, although there are some smaller fish. A cloudy day with a light evening breeze to put a little ripple on the water will actually help you a little bit. Diamond Lake, the black crappie up there, they're rated as good. Bluegill are good. Catfish, you're gonna find out through these reports, catfish are starting to hit everywhere. So any body of water out there you think has got catfish, I'm going to guarantee you're probably going to catch some. Okay, catfish are picking up. They're biting on most all types of bait up at Diamond Lake. My papers are out of order. Largemouth bass, they're fair. Fishing around shallow rock and some wood. The curly-leaf pondweed is dying off, and there's a big algae bloom occurring right now.
What lake was that?
That's Lake McBride.
Okay.
Iowa River, water levels are rising slightly, but by Sunday, they're forecasted to drop there, Lonnie. Okay. So you might have to forego church and just go up there. Channel catfish are also rated as good on the Iowa River. The catfish are starting to spawn. Look for males around the cut banks and upper ends of the brush piles. And we just talked about this last night, Randy. Also start to look for overhanging mulberry trees because their berries are starting to ripen.
And I love them.
And catfish have a sweet tooth.
I have actually pulled a mulberry off and put it on my hook and caught catfish.
Are you kidding?
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
I've heard that, and I've never tried that. I think the reason why is because when we were kids growing up, we had a mulberry tree back behind our house. And for some reason, me and about 10 neighborhood kids, for some reason, thought it was a good idea to pull the mulberries off and smash them into each other's hair and clothes and all that.
It is fun.
Now, back in my day, whipping was prevalent. I won't even go.
Everybody had a willow tree.
That beating was so bad. I mean, other parents were beating other people's kids over it. To this day, I won't go near a mulberry tree. That's how bad it was.
He was crying. One bird pooped on it. He said, "What's that purple stuff on my truck?"
Yes, from down at Randy's. Anyway, Lake Belvedere, the bluegill are good, largemouth bass are good, and channel catfish are good. The place to go for catfish in Belvedere is either down at the dam or up at the upper end of the lake. Fish the underwater mounds, which have rip-rap out in their tops. Lake Darling, bluegill, bass. They're all rated as good down there, 78 to 79 degrees. Lake Geode, good bluegill, good bass, good catfish. That's what all these are going to be on. Lake Saguma, black crappie are fair. Use jig combination down there, about 4 to 8 foot of water. Largemouth bass are fair. Walleye are fair. Use a jig tipped with a minnow or night crawler along the dam or other riprap shores. Minnows fished under a bobber will also be productive. Pool number 16 in the Mississippi River. Clarity is fair to poor. Some walleyes are being caught on the wing dams. Channel catfish are being caught fishing along the rock. Remember to clean and drain and dry your boat before taking it to another body of water. Right there from the DNR. In case somebody wants to look it up and think I'm lying.
You don't want contaminated fish.
Right, don't want contaminated water. River pool number 17. It says, walleye are fair. Some walleyes are being caught on the wing dams, casting crankbaits, or pulling three-way rigs with crawlers. Trolling crankbaits out from GPC can work too. And that's what we know right now as of this moment on your fishing reports. Have you heard anything, Randy? What's going on down by you?
I'm selling a lot of leeches. The leeches work real good on slip bobbers running along them rocks along Muscatine.
Mm-hmm.
City people without boats can get slip bobbers and
City people
without boats.
City people without boats.
Well, you ever go to a town like New Boston town? It's not a city. Everybody's got a boat.
You go
to Muscatine and you see, I don't know, one
them
boat
city
every 5
folk.
blocks.
You gotta talk right into that mic, right into the front of it.
Okay, I'll chew on it. So anyway,
so all the city folk without boats can hear what
can
you're saying.
use slip bobbers. And I should have stayed home again. One more week. But yeah, they're spawning real good in the rocks and that. I sent a guy down to Illinois, didn't have an Illinois license, so he hooked up with his anchor outside, and he did the same thing over there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, 20 years ago, I used to fish at. We sat down there and just pull in 3-4 pounders all day long. Mm-hmm. And as far as the pumping station down there, they hit that pretty hard. But any place there's a pile of rocks on the river, you know, you can do that. Fish that way on them catfish right now.
You know, and that's the thing. And when they are like they are right now, you could use a shoestring.
Yeah, they're not hungry. They're protective.
Right.
So they'll suck that leech up and they'll spit it out. The minute that bobber goes down, you really need to set the hook.
Right.
Keep your eye on it. Because they will spit it out and let it keep floating by.
Mm-hmm. Lonnie, you got anything to add on? I know you're country folk.
They all got boats out there.
Right, Moscow
too.
Yeah, Moscow.
Avalissa.
Yeah, Moscow. It's city code. If you don't have at least 3 John boats sitting in your yard, they run you to hell out there.
That's a town code, not a city code.
y'all get back to the city. So you got anything to add to that, Lonnie?
Just about the same. The bass. I caught some of the biggest bass, both small and largemouth, that I had caught my entire life this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know them smallies like to hang outside your little your Bridgeport there or whatever.
I think somebody's feeding them.
A lot of them fish pellets in there. Well, anyway, hey, you're on Jerry's Outdoor Show, and now we'll entertain some city folk. They have businesses up here. They don't have boats, but they have businesses. They're my sponsors on Jerry's Outdoor Show. We'll be right back. City folk.
I've spent 1,000 miles.
Don't you change that dial. We've got some more great fishing advice coming up. Actual fishing advice may not be helpful. Right here on Jerry's Outdoor Show on KWPC AM 860 and 95.1 FM.
Are you looking for a reliable taxidermist who does superior work? Here's taxidermist Shannon Spooner telling you in sign language why he's the best around. Oh, we forgot to mention, he's deaf. Deaf Guy Taxidermy in Clinton mounts every type of game imaginable, from deer and coyotes, fish and ducks, you name it, he can mount it. Text him, please. Don't call 563-613-4411 or send him an email to deafguytaxidermy@icloud.com. Deaf Guy Taxidermy, proud sponsor of Jerry's Outdoor Show. Listen on KWPC Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Shannon wishes he could. Indian Creek Lure Company is your family-owned tackle shop. They carry the finest in bass fishing products. They carry items not found anywhere else. In fact, if they don't have it, you don't need it. Indian Creek Lure Company specializes in the more specialized tackle. Indian Creek also carries Dobbins and Denali fishing rods, as well as their own line of Indian Creek rods. They can help you spec out a custom rod that's the perfect fit for you, and they cater to bass clubs and tournament anglers. Check out their website, IndianCreekLures.com today.
Mitchell Arms and Ammo has moved. Stop by their new location on Park Avenue inside the old Lincoln School. They are still your locally owned gun shop. Owner Troy Mitchell takes his time to find the right firearm to fit your needs. Visit them online today at MitchellArmsandAmmo.com and start searching their inventory. Suppressors will be available in July. They offer online pricing and local pickup. No freight or extra fees. Just add tax and pick up at the store in a few days. And warranties are honored locally too. Call them at 319-212-0239.
Pierce custom rods are handcrafted of the finest materials available and designed to provide the most enjoyable fishing experience imaginable. Each rod features a perfect blend of power, action, and detail customized for the user. If you want the utmost in performance, quality, feel, and appearance from your custom rods, choose Pierce Custom Rods. Search Pierce Custom Rods and like them on Facebook or call 563-299-8645.
And now back to more Jerry's Outdoor Show. If you've missed part of this episode or any other episode, what were you thinking? Give Jerry's Outdoor Show a like on Facebook. Listen to past episodes on iTunes, Podbean, and jerry'soutdoorshow.com.
So we were just talking on break here because I haven't seen my good buddy Tim Scott in such a long time, and he just said, he goes, I checked into them suppressors that we were talking about, and he gave me the old dollar sign look. So we weren't kidding on that either, were we?
By the time I have my gun barrel threaded, which isn't too bad of a price to do that, that's pretty cheap.
Who was you going to have do that?
I don't even know who I was going to have do the threading, but once I found out how much the all went into how much that suppressor was going to be, I decided not to do it. Because it'd be over $300.
You don't want to do your neighbor in that bad, though.
Well,
I call them neighbor getters.
It ain't my neighbor. I got a pretty big list, but
now, Tim, do you shoot quite a bit?
I used to when I was a kid, and I recently bought another gun last week. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Because the cheaper the suppressor, the less life expectancy length it has.
I also heard that too.
Yeah.
So
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
One that was halfway decent was going to be at least $300.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. On an average week, I shoot 400 to 600 rounds on an average week.
Okay.
It's pretty quiet out there by Lonnie's place. Yeah. hey, we're just going to town, Lonnie. We don't need to be driving up and down the river so much. We just want to get to that other end, please.
Right.
And it wouldn't last me from the way I've investigated them and looked into them that they wouldn't probably last me, but a couple of months at best.
What do you shoot on when you?
Well, you ain't going to use your suppressor every time you go practicing.
Well, Lonnie says it does because it saves on his ears. Yeah. Like I said, these are one of these things. If you take 5 minutes and think about what the man said, it makes sense. He wants to save his ears, so he's going to use the suppressor when he's practicing.
No.
That's when if you look on YouTube, there's a lot of people that just do target shooting and stuff just for sport, just for the fun of it. Yeah. They all use suppressors now. So
like I've mentioned this before. My grandson and I, and even my wife shoots, and we have little contests. But you're always forever ripping your headsets off, trying to talk to one another. Okay, what are we going to do next? what are we going to do this and that, and suppressors would be great.
007.
And then you mentioned what weapon do I use?
You're gonna put one on.
I've got just about one of each.
Okay.
I got 357. I've got 38s, 22s, 45s, 40s.
Well, 22 ain't too bad to shoot for
No.
money-wise, but
No.
you start getting up in some of the other ammunition, and you're spending some
you're
money
running
to
into some big
fire
bucks.
100 rounds off.
Did you see that Hummer sitting out there in the parking lot?
I did.
That's Lonnie. That's Lonnie.
Yeah, poor guy's living hand to mouth there.
I know.
So do you reload and all that too?
No, I
or
do not
you don't do
reload.
that? Yeah.
No, I find it. My own personal opinion is that if you weigh the powders and everything,
Yeah.
it's just as easy. You can actually buy bulk factory reloads.
Uh-huh.
And save you a few bucks. So
Well, my whole thing on the suppressor deal, wouldn't it just be easier just to buy a gun that's already made for a suppressor?
yes.
Yeah.
I think.
And you can buy the guns now with the threaded barrels.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Right,
just
yeah.
like going to a car. If you want a car with air conditioning or power windows, then you got to look for that
Right.
particular car.
But
If
you
want
can shoot the gun. Say you got one that's got the compressor on it.
Mhm.
You don't have to use a compressor all the time. You
No.
can take it
Hang
off
up.
and shoot, and it won't mess your threads.
Nope,
up or
you got to.
nothing.
There's an end. There's a barrel end that comes with it.
You put that
You,
back
you screw that back on it.
Well, I'll be
Yep.
done.
see them city folk.
Yeah. You all know about them?
Yeah, well, first they ain't got no boats.
Ain't got no boats.
Right. They bag fish, but it back to our little gun discussion here, and we'll wrap it up. We had somebody call in; they must have got off the line. If you were calling in about a question, give us a
Jump
ring
in.
back. Right? Hey, I want Pat. I just want to deviate from it. I get a lot of this from people that say, "Yeah, I want to talk." Don't wait for me to give you an opening. Just give us a call, and we'll take your phone call.
It's
and we'll
hard to
go
shut him up, folks.
Yeah,
Just call us.
Oh, this is. Did you check on Randy today? Did you check on Randy? Oh, okay, he'll be fine. Believe me.
Aren't you?
The crap I've seen him go through, leg infections, nothing. I'm surprised he ain't out mowing his lawn and hitting the stump with his lawnmower.
I already did that. I broke the tractor and the mower.
So he'll be just fine. But anyway, back to the deal with the suppressors now. Our good friend Troy Mitchell down there in Mitchell Arms and Ammo, I believe he says they're going to be ready to go in July. They'll have it, and I think he said it jumps up to a Class C and stuff like that. So are suppressors interchangeable with other guns? I mean, obviously they have different bores. I mean, you can't just buy one suppressor and use it on. I'm asking because I don't know nothing about
I
guns.
think if you've got the same thread,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I think they're going to have what's called a standard, just like an SAE.
Right.
Standard American engineered thread
Mm-hmm.
design. Then, yeah, as long as you're shooting a 22, you could probably move it from one 22 to the other.
Okay.
Naturally, you can't move a 45 to a 22.
But see, I got, like, my gun I bought is a Ruger Mark III 22.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the bull barrel on it.
Mhm.
So I'd have to buy one that was, specifically sized to that bull barrel.
To that bull barrel.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying eventually, like it is with cell phones or anything, you're going to be able to walk into Walmart and there's going to be these carded suppressors hanging all over the place, and you just pick them up there. But
In the
like
future,
Tim was saying, for the $200 tax right on top of it.
Yep.
Right on top of it.
Yeah.
That's before anything else.
Yeah, it's a little
You know,
scary.
that's the way it goes.
And that's per suppressor.
Yeah. So
If I had brewer's money, it'd be a different story.
Yeah. I lost it in the hospital here. That's what happens when you get old. You go to the hospital and they take all your retirement.
I know how that goes.
everything you worked for and saved up your whole life, the
They're
hospital
chewing on it.
Bill swallows it up in
They're
1
chewing
week.
on it.
Absolutely. Hey, it's time for your call to win right now on Jerry's Outdoor Show.
Well, hello there. It's the Colonel, and it's your time to win a prize on Jerry's Outdoor Show. I say, just give him a ringy-dingy on the telephone. I say 563-263-8600, and you could win. Brought to you from our good friends at JB's Fish Sauce. Check them out at jbsfishsauce.com. And remember, fish just can't lay off the sauce. I say, good luck.
That's right. Give me a call right now at 563-263-8600, and you win some of that fish sauce. And let me tell you what, I'm friends with James Block on Facebook, the inventor of this stuff. And, man, there's been a lot of guys posting a lot of big pictures with that fish sauce working good for them. A lot of big bass, a lot of big catfish. It's not species-oriented. Just because you're using the fish sauce doesn't mean you're not going to, you're not going to catch a bass or you're not going to catch fat catfish. It works really good. You should really
Gets rid of the human stink.
It gets rid of the human smell. And that's what you want. It's going to mask that. And another thing we need to do
He called me, Jerry. He called me Wednesday, and he said, "Did you get them samples?" I guess I got them a week prior or a week and a half. Junior, my daughter Randy,
right.
She had them. She says, "Woo, brown paper bag, keep the lid shut." She stuck it in the corner. Nobody's seen it since. But the dog kept looking in that corner, and it's like, what's in that corner? Oh, I forgot to tell you that your samples came in for your fish sauce. So when he called me up, I says, yeah, I just got to look at them. So we will be carrying samples of it in the shop. We're not gonna carry everything he's got, because some of it I really don't know how you dunk it. I don't, to me it looked like a mess, but the spray-ons, the sticks, everything but the jelly one, I'm gonna have in the shops, both shops.
And they work really good, because my wife used some of it. She said, "Give me some. Let me see your anus."
No. Did you tell her no? That's why I'm catching fish.
Use your own anus.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing goes into my anus. With that, we're going to slide into the commercial break, and we're going to be right back with Jerry's Outdoor
Give us a call, folks.
Hey, you're listening to Jerry's Outdoor Show on KWPC 860 AM and 95.1 FM.
Well, what the hell was supposed to do, you moron?
The place where he was born and raised.
Sounds like a place to fish or baiting down at the bottoms. This is Randy Brewer from the Outback Bait and Tackle Shop. When you're ready to go fishing, to hit the river and local fishing holes, come and see me. I've been fishing our local areas for over 40 years. I'll be able to set you up with the right bait and tackle for our fishing holes in the area. I'll even throw in some of my experienced fishing advice. So before you head out to your fishing hole, come see me at the RB's Outback Bait and Tackle, located 16114 County Road X61 here in Muscatine. Call me at 563-506-0490. Sign says 9 to 5. Call anytime after. We'll get your bait.
Is your boat not starting well or running to its fullest potential? Have Nigel at Tailwater Marine take a look and have it running tip-top again. Conveniently located on Mississippi Drive, just south of downtown Muscatine, Tailwater Marine has years of experience and the skills to keep you worry-free on the water. Tailwater also carries towables, water toys, and accessories for your fun and safety on the water. Call Tailwater Marine, 563-264-BOAT. That's 563-264-2628.
That's a spicy meatball.
The Sicilian Pizzeria in Wilton is now serving domestic and import beer plus wine that complement all the great dishes prepared by owner and our friend Gary Brown. The Sicilian brings you the taste of New York Sicilian-style pizza plus Chicago favorites like Italian beef, meatball, and many more delicious authentic sandwiches. Really hungry? Order a Chicago-style stuffed pizza. Mouth-watering good. It's the Sicilian Pizzeria, 912 West 5th Street in Wilton. Call and place your order with Gary today at 563-732-9396. Satisfy your taste buds with the Sicilian.
And now back to more Jerry's Outdoor Show. If you've missed part of this episode or any other episode, what were you thinking? Give Jerry's Outdoor Show a like on Facebook. Listen to past episodes on iTunes, Podbean, and jerry'souttdoorshow.com.
All right, we are back. Hey, when we usually wrap up here in October, it's wintertime, and I got into the world of podcasting. And I met my next guest I met over the wintertime through Facebook. His name is Kurt Hedquist, and he is with Hedquist Outdoors, and he's also with Dr. Sonar. They're on Facebook. And I mean, a guy that knows a lot about electronics, fish finders, depth finder, all that. You will not find anybody smarter. I'm going to tell you that right now. We got him on the phone with us. How you doing today, Kurt?
I am doing wonderful. It's great to be back, Jerry.
Yeah.
Thanks for the accolades.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of your podcasts went through the roof. We did the one on the Navionics, which is a mobile app, which you work hand in hand with, and then we also did another show that was called Damn Near Everything You Want to Know About a Sonar, and they were more in depth than we can do on the radio. But if you want to go back to Jerry's Outdoor Show Podbean account and take a look at that show, that's all there. You can listen to it at any time. But anyway, we got Kurt here today because he works hand in hand with Navionics, and what Navionics is, it's basically an app for your iPhone or your Android or whatever. Isn't that right, Kurt?
It is, and it's a mobile app that's got all of Navionics lake mapping on it for either U.S. and Canada, and it all right in the palm of your hand. You can have it on your mobile device, your phone, like you say, your Android or your iPhone, if you got a tablet or an iPad.
Right.
It's right there, right in front of you.
Yeah, ever since you told me about it, I uploaded it, and I use it quite a bit. Now, I have sonars and all that on my boat, but it has come in handy. We went down to Lake Belvedere, and Randy's wasn't where we took Randy's boat, and his wasn't really up to snuff, and we can pull up the contour maps and everything. Took a little while out there.
So I just got one question. When you pull that app up and it shows that lake, does it show depth, currents, and all that stuff?
No, what it basically shows, it'll show the contour maps of it.
It shows the contours of the lake, and when you pull up the app, you make sure there's two different versions of view of it. There's the Navionics base map, and then there's also the sonar chart map, the layer. So if you look at it, make sure when you pull up the app, you go to the lower left-hand corner and you click on the little icon below there, and you select sonar chart. They've also added a really cool feature this year, a weather function that shows you the wind. It'll give you the current wind directions. It'll give you a forecast and everything like that.
So it gives you what's coming up as you're fishing as far as the wind goes?
Yep.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, it's showing you which way the wind is blowing there. So if you got your app handy there, if you tap on the screen, you'll see on the left-hand side of the crosshairs there will be another little icon there, and it will show you the wind direction, and it will show you the forecast. It's got a lot of pretty cool stuff on it, but yeah, it gives you the current wind direction and the speed and things like that.
So why buy a fish finder?
Why buy a fish finder? Because you got to find the depth of the lake, the bottom.
Oh, I thought that did that.
It shows you the contours. It's not going to show you the depth.
Oh, I see.
You don't have a transducer in the water.
Well, he said you can put it on a sonar.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Well, it doesn't have a sonar built into it.
No.
So what it is, it's basically like a handheld GPS with lake maps built into it.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, so it's it doesn't have. Actually, you can add a sonar feature to it.
Yes.
But you can really do all kinds of stuff with it. But the basic function of the app is lake mapping. So, for example, those of you that are sitting at work this morning on Friday morning dreaming about fishing of the weekend, you have the mobile app. You can kind of sit there in your office there and pull it up and start picking out fishing spots. You can create waypoints and stuff this morning, so you're all prepared to hit the water tomorrow morning.
Right, absolutely. That's the next point I wanted to talk about, Kurt, was the waypoints functions. You can actually put waypoints. If you had a good spot where you're catching fish, you can actually add that. And if you wanted to be so generous, there is a community button on there.
I can find your hidden spot. True?
Yep, true.
I can find your spot.
Yes,
Okay.
if I put it on community. Ain't that correct, Kurt?
It is true. Yes, if you do a community edit, we can. Which is kind of interesting. Like I say, if you're seeing it around the office this morning, dreaming about fishing, you pull up your mobile app and you can look at the community edits. And if you go to a body of water, you'll see little icons such as fish. People will put little icons in like fish. There'll be various like marker buoys or things like that. And if you tap on that, and let's say Jerry has a hot spot out there, and he wants to share it with us, where his big honey hole is out there in the river there.
Well, first of all, that second part of your question is going to be wrong, but go ahead.
No, I know Jerry, though. His spot that he marks, you might want to go exactly on the other side of the lake. Because he ain't going to tell the truth. He's going to mark them where he ain't catching them.
Yeah. So So yeah, there's a lot of cool data on there. You can look at the lake map before you hit the water, or else say you're driving to the lake in the morning. Your buddy's driving. You can pull up your phone and open up your mobile app, and as you're going down the road, you can make sure your passenger's doing that. Don't do it as you're driving.
Right.
But yeah, you can look at the lake before you get there and maybe
know where
find
you're
some
going.
spots. Yep.
Now there's some caveats we got to add to this. It's free to get the app. You can go download the app, but to get some of the other features that we're talking about, I mean, it even works down here at Lake Chester. Now, not every single body of water is going to be mapped out, but some of your major ones. But
all your lakes probably.
But like Deep Parks Lake, Lake Chester, that is mapped out.
Really?
And you can also, I believe, you can also share photos with it too. If you had caught a big bass or whatever, you can add that to the community feature as well, can't you, Kurt?
Yeah, you can do a photo cache. You actually can't share the photo with somebody, but you can do like say if you're out fishing with Jerry, if he decides to take you out to that hot spot and you catch that big fish out there, you can pull up your phone and take a picture of it. It'll record the time of day, the exact waypoint coordinates, things like that. But yeah, that's a good point. Not every lake is going to be on the app, but they're adding more and more and more every day, more and more lakes and things like that as they improve, as the app progresses. And so Navionics tries to be as exact as they possibly can, but there's a lot of water in this country.
Yes, there is.
And like the rivers are ever changing. You get a flood and stuff like that. So so they try and stay on top of this stuff as much as possible. And but not every lake is perfect, and you can request updates and things like that, so they know about it. But yeah, so it's a pretty cool feature. It's got a lot of really cool stuff inside of it as you when you get into it.
Right.
A lot of great features.
Right. So what I'm saying is you can download the app and play with it.
Oh, yeah.
It's free to download the app. But if you want to get into some more of the finer details, it's going to cost you, I believe it was $9.99 to upgrade to what they call the Navionics Plus, and that's where you're going to get more of those features that we were talking about.
Yes, sir.
And where can they do this at, Kurt?
You can either go to your Google Play Store or your iTunes account, and you type in Navionics in the search engine, and there will be two versions. There's a U.S. version, and then there's the U.S. and Canada. So let's say you decide to go to Canada. For another $5, you can get Canada. You get USA and Canada, or for $9.99, you get just U.S., which covers all U.S., Alaska, coastal waters, and I believe Hawaii's on there too. And then what do you get? The initial purchase is $9.99. And then to renew it every year after your subscription runs out is $4.99. And what the renewal does for you is, as Navionics improves mapping, it allows you to take advantage and download, get that updated mapping after your first year subscription runs out. So again, it's $9.99 for the first year for just U.S. And then after your first year runs out, it's $4.99. It's half the price of the new app. But again, there's a lot of data that's constantly being updated up and things like that. So
yeah, that's cheap for as much information as you got, Kurt.
And that's the thing about it. I took it down to Lake Chester, and I used it down there because I have a sonar on my boat. But I kind of used them in tandem there. They weren't hooked together, but it's fairly accurate. I mean, it's 100%.
Yours was off. His was on.
No, it was 100% accurate where depths are at and this and that. And then what I also like about it, Kurt, is you can switch it from just a plain Jane, terrain map, or you can have a satellite image of the place that you're at, and it will mark distances. If you want to go, say you got a bunch of waypoints out there, it'll tell you the distance between this and that point there, and all that information is stored. And I'm telling you, folks, go. If you don't believe me, just download it, and then you can delete it if you don't like it. But I'm telling you, you're gonna like it. You're gonna get hooked. And it's gonna work for a lot of guys that just have a John boat. They haven't put the money into it. Now, like I said, it's not a fish finder, but it does show the contours and a reference point in this net. But you can turn it into a fish finder, can't you, Kurt?
Yes, you can. There's a deal called the Vexlar Sonar Phone, and it's about as simple it can be. You can say you got a small John boat, like I got a little 12-foot fishing boat. I take and put the transducer on a stick on a board, clamp it to the screwed the transducer to the board, clamped the board to my transom of my boat, got a little 12-volt power supply for it, and that goes to a Wi-Fi box, and you turn the box on, you go into your phone settings into Wi-Fi, and you look for the thing called the Vexilar sonar phone, you connect to it, and instantly your mobile device can do a split screen sonar and mapping right alongside of it. So it looks just like any other sonar. It's a really cool little feature. And the other cool part about it is if you go to an area that isn't mapped, you can actually do live mapping with this thing right on your phone, or your mobile device, I should say. Mm-hmm. It actually will track you where you are in the lake, and it records the depth, and it draws those fresh contours right on your phone. So let's say you go to a pond or a lake or a small lake or wherever that has been mapped, you can actually just spend 15, 20 minutes buzzing around the lake, make a map, and you can then back up, and then you can go back and look at it, and you can see the layout of the lake when it's all said and done. It's amazing what they pack into for less than $200. What you can do, you can do live mapping, get a sonar, then you get the app, and all that good stuff. Then when you get a big fish, you can still call your buddy and brag about it, send him a picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, I was pretty impressed with just the app itself, not with all the other stuff. But like you said, this is technology, baby. It gets well. Look how much different it is from a year ago. You know, and they continue, Navionics continue upgrades and upgrades and upgrades and upgrades and upgrades and upgrades, you know.
Yeah. No, I was going to say there's a couple other features, too, you can use, too. You can do a water level offset and a thing. So let's say you go to a reservoir or a river or a lake that's up and down. You can change it. You can add, subtract water depth, so your contours will remain accurate based on the water level. So you just go into the features and play with it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And like I say, it's amazing what you can do for $10 in your phone.
Yes, so. It really is. And
like I said, that's way affordable enough.
It is, and like I said, for guys that don't want to invest, but they get out and fish like maybe a couple times a month. Here you go. Everybody and their brothers except for Randy, has an iPhone or an Android. They don't have it for flip phone yet, do they, Kurt?
No, they got the Etch-a-Sketch.
There you go. That will work. Well, we'll put it out there again, Kurt. Where can they go find this wonderful, beautiful app that you got out there?
You can go to your either iPhone, go to your iTunes account, and log in and search for Navionics, or go to Android, your Google Play Store, and there you type in Navionics again, and you'll see it pop up on the bottom there. And they do give you you can download the free demo, like you said, and you get a week's subscription to the Navionics Plus features, and so you can kind of play with it and check it out before you. So it's ride before you buy it. Try it before you buy it.
Yeah.
And so it's a pretty cool deal. So those of you that are sitting at work this morning thinking, "God, we're going to check this thing out."
Yeah.
Quick, open up your phone and just make sure your boss isn't watching.
Maybe the boss will go in, "Boy, what you got there, Ray?" "Well, I don't know, Tim. Let's take a look at that." "Hey, Willer, that's a ticket. Let's close this place down and go fishing."
I was going to say, this is Muscatine. Who the hell works on Friday?
Yeah, them city, if you were listening to it earlier, you got these city folk running around with no boats and an iPhone.
They can catch catfish.
Now they can. So on the flip side of Kurt, look at my friend Kurt on Facebook. Like I said, he's tied in with Dr. Sonar, and he's got Kurt Hedquist out there outdoors. Valuable information. We're going to have you on other shows, and we'll get into the regular mounted sonars and all that on the boat. You are a wealth of information. But I know you took time out of your day because you're in the heating and cooling business, aren't you? The HVAC?
I am. Yes, I am. I work for, I'm in the HVAC industry, and it's a job security kind of day.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many compressors you got lined up to go out the door this weekend?
Not too many of those, but there's a lot of other maintenance and a lot of other stuff. We got to keep people cool,
Yeah, condensers. I'm sorry.
You're a cool kind of guy.
There
Kurt.
you go.
I am.
There you go.
All right, Kurt. Well, like I said, I appreciate you taking the time out, and we'll have you on future shows, and we'll get in depth with this. And this guy knows a lot. Look him up. I appreciate you taking your time today, Kurt. Have a good day, buddy.
It's always an awesome time here.
All right. Cool beans, Daddy-O. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah. I met him on when I was doing my podcast, and this guy just everything. I mean, Lowrance, Garmin, Mariner, whatever. This guy really, really knows his stuff. And he helped me out a bunch with mine. Now, I had the Lowrance, and it's like, dude, I can't. These blobs are just fish blobs. I can't get them to be the arches, you know. So we did the trick where we put the boat in the water. You take a level, and you put it there, and you put a stack of coins to get your boat level. And then you run it on your transducer to get it all perfect. And it worked fine, you know. What are you laughing about? City folks with quarters?
Oh, Jerry, you're going to stack up quarters on the side of your boat with a level in the water.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep them quarters.
Yeah. Well, I remember it only takes like 7 or 8.
Says you don't.
All right, we'll go right after this. We'll go right after this show here, big boy, and I'm going to show you how it's done. We'll take Brad and he can videotape it.
Hey, how'd that work for you though?
It worked perfect.
Yeah, you still got blobs.
Yeah, I still got blobs, but my transducer's level. I think it's something with the speed. I've took that sensitivity up and down, or maybe I should have paid the extra $200 and went with the 5X, the 5X Helix. No, you get it. You play with the sensitivity and all that.
That's it. The bigger you get, the more stuff you get on those things, and the more complicated for a guy like me it is to run. Because if you don't set that up just right, it's not going to perform like the book says.
Right.
See?
Yeah. They never look quite like the demos do.
No, but like I said, there's a lot of setting up, just like you said, keeping that level when you first start out, You know, my boat running down the river, it lies to me on gas. I have to stop.
It lies to you on gas.
And look at the gas before, because, when I'm running, I'm a quarter tank good.
Yeah.
So I think I got a quarter and I don't.
It's probably them damn city folk coming down there siphoning the gas out of your boat.
I didn't have them quarters on there. See?
There you go.
I wasn't level.
There you can use $50, pennies, whatever you want to do. But anyway.
Go ahead.
Well, so what you got going on, Lonnie? Where you going this weekend? You going up to get them carp? Do you need help?
Get the carp for
I'm gonna
fish fry.
Yes. Yeah,
we're all about the fish fry from now till next Saturday.
Yes. I got to admit that's where I'm at right now. Also, I got everything loaded up. I got an old chest refrigerator. I got my wheel cart with a trash can strapped to it to take down over the bank, because there's nothing worse than trying to haul 50, 60 pound of carp up over the bank, you know.
Yeah.
And so I put them on a wheel cart and wheel them up, and I got ice in the old freezer refrigerator. And I throw them in that until I get them home. I got a meat saw set up, got it all ready to go to clean, and
that still floors Randy when you say meat saw. Did you see?
I use a Sawzall.
Oh yeah,
I got rid of my meat saw. I could see my finger getting cut off. But I use a Sawzall.
Works great.
I'll give you 7 good reasons why to keep your guard on your saw.
There you go.
Yeah, you used to have 10, right?
There you go. Absolutely. Hey, enough of us stroking each other in here. We got to slide out of here. Big Fish Fry next Saturday down at the VFW. Come on down. My good buddy Herman Longhorn and the Port Louisa Trio will be there. For my good friend Lonnie Ford, my good friend Randy Brewer, and my good friend Tim Scott, my good friend Brad Hasford, my good friend everybody. We got to slide out of here. Have a good weekend. Be safe on the water. Bye-bye, folks.
You've been listening to Jerry's Outdoor Show. Special thanks to Indian Creek Lure Company, the Sicilian Pizzeria Wilton, Mitchell Arms and Ammo, Pierce Custom Rods, Tailwater Marine, Deaf Guy Taxidermy, and RB's Outback Bait and Tackle. Tune in every Friday morning at 10 a.m. right here on AM 860, FM 95.1, KWPC, the voice of Muscatine.
Well, I love her, but I love to fish. I spend all day out on this lake, and hell is all I can.
We are so glad you came. Bye-bye. 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 Bye. Bye-bye. Remember, please discard all candy wrappers and popcorn containers in the nearest trash receptacle.